And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, May 20th, 2017. It is Season 11, Episode 19. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Matt.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Matt is back.
What's up?
Thank you very much. Real quick. Yeah, it's fine. As
Everybody
many times as
clap.
you want. It helps. It helps me to sync up the audio when we put this thing on YouTube.
I didn't hear a harumph from him.
Yeah, we can get a harumph from that guy.
You'll live.
Give the governor a harumph.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Is your phone turned off so we
Of
don't get
course-
another
yes,
sound
yes,
effect from
yes.
Blazing Saddles? Good. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. That number again, 334-272-9228. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook at InGameChat. You can email us, everyone at ingamechat.net. You can just go to our website, ingamechat.net. There's a box there on a dozen different ways to get in touch with us through all sorts of manners. And there's a link there that you can watch us on the stream through Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv. And then at the little bar where you can search in, just type in In-Game Chat and you can find us. Or, like I said, go to our website. Click on the link. That's the easiest thing to do. Welcome to the show. Matt, welcome to... So glad to have you back.
Yeah, fun to be here.
We've got a lot to talk about today. Not only the games that we have played. Matt and I have been playing Prey. RJ's been playing Injustice 2. Kind of on top of those things right now. But we've also got... plenty of news. We've got some numbers again, surveys again, which were not really the highlight of last week's show once I found out how many people they actually surveyed for those things, but oh well. But we've got more numbers to report on, and then of course there is that whole thing about Destiny 2 to talk about as well. So, and we really would like your opinions on this. Drunk Degenerates, I know you're a big Destiny guy. You've played with us on PS4, so when we get to that section, would love to either have you call in if you can, or just throw your opinions there in the chat room, and I'll throw them out. I'll throw them out on the air. Cavalier UK is already asking if we checked out The Surge. We've got music from The Surge to play in the show. It did release this week. I'd been sent plenty of emails saying review codes are available, and I did not opt in on that, although I can still do that if RJ has any interest in that. I might can grab him a review code for that. I think I'll look into that. I don't know if even you're interested in that. We talked about this, I think, last week.
About
The Surge.
The Surge.
Do you have any interest in that? Have you followed it? Do you know what it is?
I've seen some videos of it. I've seen some.
I keep hearing a bunch of
it.
Dark Souls mentions.
Dark Souls-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of comparisons of that in terms of difficulty. I haven't really given it much thought. Like I said, I've seen a few videos of it.
Yeah.
It seems like a standard fare to me. Search this area, take out enemies. I'm trying to figure out the way to build your character up, the leveling up system. I'm more interested in how that works out in this game. But from what I've seen so far, I mean, it looks okay, but I haven't seen anything that really makes it stand out. It makes me want to pick it up and check it out, really. Besides, I'm still going through some stuff in Dark Souls 3 right now anyway, so I'm still playing that.
You can always use Dark Souls again. Even though it's not called Dark Souls, you can use some Dark Souls. Cavalier UK, by the way, if you've played The Surge,
let us know.
Throw in the chat room and tell us what you think about it, or throw us a phone call if you can, 334-272-9228. is the number. We don't normally like to stick to anything on this show as far as any kind of format other than talk about video games. So if we're on one thing and you get a chance to call and want to talk about something else game related, by all means go for it. We will turn this car around in any direction you want to go with it, video game related. I have a ton of notes in our show notes here for what to talk about. And hopefully we'll be able to fit it in 2 hours. I always worry about running out of content. I don't think that is going to be the case today. So with that being said, let's get into what we've been playing. And I want to start with Matt, but I think I'm going to get to him after we go to RJ, because Matt and I have probably played the same thing. Outside of Prey, Matt, have you played anything else?
Yes.
You have? Okay. When I get to you...
I'll go with that.
Go with that first, and then we'll go into our Prey playtime.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll do all of our stuff that isn't Prey, because I played something else that isn't Prey.
Okay.
So we'll do all of our stuff.
We'll have a Prey segment.
Then we'll Prey.
Okay.
We'll have a...
Well, MC Hammer says you got to pray to make it today.
I knew you were going to throw that in somehow.
Really?
I knew. I was avoiding it. He was there. He was calling to me. It's like,
hey,
throw out the Hammer lyric. But I was like, you know what?
Any chance to throw out the Hammer lyric,
part of me was like,
do it.
Part of me was like, no, and then part of me was like, Matt will take care of that for you.
Because I'll do it. While you're saying you can't touch this, I'm like, stop, Hammer time. RJ.
Yes.
How are you not a father? Because you were loaded.
That I know of?
You were loaded with dad jokes, really.
Because I don't like kids.
You were loaded with dad jokes. Anyway, RJ, over to you.
Okay.
Tell us about Injustice 2. Well,
yes.
Tell us about everything you played except for Injustice 2 right now.
Okay, but I did play MLB The Show. I started playing a little bit of the Road to the Show mode.
Did you get any of the... I heard there were that people, early adopters of that, were going to get some kind of benefits from the developers because of how crappy
there was a glitch that happened with the network, and they said if you had played the game between a certain date, I think the 11th and about 2 weeks prior to that, you got a little bonus in with your file. Your file save. You got some more bucks to spend in the show store.
Yeah. If
you played between a certain date, because it was a glitchy mess.
Did you get some of those bonuses?
I believe I did. I did play between that time, so my bucks went up a little bit. So
nice.
Yeah, I was good at that.
Cool.
I got a little bit with that. Like I said, I started a little bit of Road to the Show. Build a character from scratch. Go through the motions of trying to get into the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Start with the draft. Play some games. Make sure you do everything right so you can get the attention of the scouts. Then determine whether or not you want to go back to college or go ahead with the draft.
God, it's like a simulator of some kind.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty much. So you can if your stats aren't good enough, and usually they won't be. When you go through that first run, you can go back to college and build up some more training points so that you can get your character up to snuff so that he can make a bigger impact when the scouts come by to observe you playing. So outside of that, of course, I played some more Dark Souls 3, going through some more run-throughs with my alternate characters. I haven't gone through the DLC with my strength build, my dexterity build, or my magic build. So I've been going through that recently with Dark Souls 3. And other than that, it's been Injustice 2.
I don't know if any of you listening or watching saw, but we hosted RJ's stream last night. He played, I guess, through the entire tutorial and story mode?
I went through tutorial and story mode, but I have to finish up some stuff in story mode. I went through one clean run through, but there's some more stuff I have to play through to unlock the full story mode.
Okay.
See, apparently there are modes in story mode where you have a choice between two characters. Some of the chapters involved, one chapter involved Black Canary and Green Arrow. Another involved Aquaman and Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So at various points in the story, you have a choice. Pick which character you want to go through. So I picked, the way I did it was I picked one character and then I picked the other, then back to the other character. I alternated back and forth between the two. Now what they did was it gave me confirmation that I cleared with one character, but I didn't clear that section of the chapter with the other character, so I have to go back.
You completed one branch.
Yeah,
you haven't completed the other branch. I understand.
So yeah,
that's an interesting. I know there are probably other choices that you can pick, but that's interesting that Black Canary and Green Arrow. Sure, you're still pretty much on the hero side, regardless of choice. But you have a choice between Black Adam and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
That should really deviate, because the time that I spent watching. You were never a villain that I spent watching. I spent watching the segment where you were Green Arrow for a bit, and then it moved into Flash's story, and then it moved into Green Lantern's story. And as I watched you play, I thought, of course he's going to be hero in this. But apparently there is a choice between hero or villain on this. And when you had that choice between Aquaman and Black Adam, which way did you go?
It was there was multiple choices. The first part I went with Aquaman. The second part I went with Black Adam. Then I went back to I think there was a third choice you had to make, but I went with Aquaman.
Going on Black Adam, does that put you on a villain path where you start to play more villains, or no?
No, you're basically helping out with.
Is this Aquaman. One of those like the villains come together to work with the heroes to battle
one of those type
similar
of things,
evil type thing? Yeah. Okay, I get it.
It was the same thing with Mortal Kombat. You weren't really going to play one of the evil faction. You're going to play from the hero side more than anything else. And the same applies here, except when the villains are, like you said, helping out the heroic aspect of the story mode.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you get through all those chapters that alternate between characters, the big switch is near the end where you pick between Batman and Superman. Batman's route is what I went with the first time, and now after I clear everything out the second time through, then I have to go with Superman's route to get the full ending. It's basically, I think it's 76 chapters to have to go through.
Oh, wow.
And one run through that I did on the stream unlocked 51 of them. So I have to go through all the chapters are listed, so I can pick which chapters I can go through and get the right ones that didn't pick up the first time through.
This is kind of deep. Not really deep, but kind of like it's not Mortal Kombat straight story mode through like it was for the last one where you start as Cage and you go all the way through the thing.
Yeah, you start as Cage and go through all the heroic side and go through to the end. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But this is
definite replay. This is the definite replay making of this one.
I was tempted to pick it up just because of it's comic book characters, you know. I was tempted to pick it up.
Did you play the first one?
I have the first one because it was a PS Plus title.
Yeah, I think it was free.
Actually, I have the first one a couple of different things because the special collector's edition that came with that Wonder Woman Batman statue was down to like $50 on a quick 24-hour sale one day on GameStop or the store. And I picked it up there, and that was Xbox 360. And then it became a PS Plus title, and I grabbed it there. I even think I probably have it on PC. Because of a Steam sale where it was cheap or something.
Oh yeah, I mean the price has been really reasonable with the original Injustice. I think it was Ultimate Edition on PS3 for Plus members.
Yeah, I've picked up a few copies of this thing. So owning it, yes. Playing it, not so much. I've played a few versus matches with friends and stuff, but not. That's about it, you know. It's button spamming for me, really.
That's how it was for me on the story mode because I wanted to get right into story mode, just go through the tutorial and go through the story mode. But when you go through tutorial mode, you'll learn some basics, really. But you're not gonna, not for me. I didn't remember everything about that. It's like after the story mode was done, I was like, oh yeah, you can use this to escape because there was some combos I was getting hit with, and I was trying to figure out how to escape from them, but I couldn't remember it at the time. I was trying to focus on getting out of the corner, but I couldn't think of it.
Drunk to Dinner says, how bad is the whole dealio with the loot boxes and gear levels and scores? I saw you earning a bunch of stuff.
I had a bunch of stuff after the story mode. Every match you had gave you some boxes to open up for gear to add to your character in character edit mode. So I got a bunch of epic, basic, rare items in that. Mostly bronze, but it's basically bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond level boxes. And of course you have the currency. I think some type of credits you have in there that you get as well. So you start earning those to buy bigger boxes and whatnot. But the gear was pretty much spread out all around. Usually it catered to the character I was using at the time. So I'm guessing that if I want to get something for like a Swamp Thing, who I want to play with when it comes to competitive play,
PvP,
I'll probably be doing some modes with him, see if I can pick up some stuff. Because like I said, it focused it on one character. But there are sometimes when I'm playing with like I play with Batman and I'm getting something for Catwoman.
Yeah,
you know, something like that. So I'll have to experiment more with that, see how it works.
All right, fantastic. I have played outside. Again, me and Matt are going to talk about the games we have played that are not Prey. So the game that I played, I went in a little bit further with Seasons After Fall, which I talked about on last week's episode. And I thought it was going to be kind of a short run, and it still feels like it's going to be a short run. But there is more to it than just collecting the different seasons. So the last one that I was left with was collecting summer. Mm-hmm. So I have summer, fall, winter, and spring. So now I can run through the levels and change the season at will. And that'll, like if I come upon, if it's fall, there might be a very low water spout coming up. But if I go to spring, when it's raining, the water spout is higher.
More water.
Yeah, there's more water. So what you'll have to do in some ways it's all environmental puzzles, and no, you cannot die. What you'll do is you'll have to get to a higher platform or something like that. So you'll get up to a higher position and need that water spout to be higher so that you can cross the gap. Mm-hmm. You know, you have targeted spring, the water goes up. You go to winter, the water freezes. You become a platform. That becomes a platform. Then you can cross over. So there is that. Now I'm going back through, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing.
Like you're a little stuck right now?
No, not stuck. I'm trying to figure out how to explain the story, and it's very hard to explain because originally I was this glowing thing they called a seed that possessed a fox so that it could actually get around and move and that sort of thing.
Stuff,
and interact with stuff. Anyway, I don't want to say, well, I probably am not spoiling things, but I'm now like the spirit of that fox.
Really?
Yeah, I'm now the spirit of that fox, and I'm going back and I'm taking the different seasons. Like, I have possession of the seasons, but apparently the cores of the seasons live on this, I don't know, they're owned by this thing, and now I'm trying to free those. It's very difficult to describe, but it's all puzzle related, and I'm not exactly sure what the price of it is on Steam or on PS4. It was just released this week for consoles, but it's been on PC for a while. And I'm not done with it. I've done 2 of the different seasons. Now I have 2 more to like free up again, and I think that'll be the end of it. It might not. It might make me do something 4 more times. I don't know.
I think it says 15.
$15
on store on Steam store.
You know, when that hits a sale, probably good. I have not finished the game to tell you, though, because if this thing goes longer, sure, you've got some replay value, but the replay value is not really holding up too well. Otherwise, I'd been done with the game by now.
There's no procedurally generated stuff in there, is it? Just
it's not. You get access to different levels because once you have these different abilities, parts of the level open up for you. Like you can only go so far in some because you don't have access to get further because you can't control the environment. And then once you turn into like this spirit thing, other methods of movement come to your advantage. And it's hard to tell you exactly how that whole thing works, but it's very Ori and the Blind Forest-esh, where so I'm not necessarily I'm not going through levels and being like, okay, I know this area. I'll get to a section and I'm like, wait, I can now do this. Let me check this out, and it'll send me into some different path and show me a completely different level. Yeah. I am doing a lot of the same things, which is basically just switching through the different seasons. That's all you'll ever do. That's really the only power you have. There is no push and pull, and I mean, you don't gain any new abilities as far as the ability to change the different seasons. So there is that. The music is fantastic. I've talked about that before. The music is splendid. The artwork on this is beautiful as well. But I don't know, $15. Yes. If you could drop 5 and get it for like 10, or get it for 6 or 8,
then it'd be worth it.
That sounds like a good deal. I haven't finished it yet, though. If this thing goes longer, I don't know. If it goes longer and changes up the way I'm doing things, then maybe there's some incentive there to jump in on this. But so far, you know.
What I'm thinking of,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just that I don't think it's worth $15.
It's not what. So I was just saying, run one time through, and that's pretty much it. There's no real.
There will, as far as I know.
Won't be a reason for you to play through it again.
I haven't finished it yet to see if it's like, hey, guess what you can do now? You know, I don't know. Yeah. So that's what I played outside of Prey. Matt, what about you?
Players Unknown Battlegrounds.
Oh, that's right.
So
yes.
I picked that up a couple weeks ago, or last week or so. Watched some videos on it. I haven't been playing it, just so I know what it's about. I've watched other people play it, so I had a good idea of what to do, like some strategies and stuff like that. But then I got in with James, and we're doing 2-man teams, and that game is so much fun. Mm-hmm. It's for the listeners who don't know what it is, it's an early access game on Steam, and it's basically the movie Battle Royale.
That's what. Yeah, we've talked about this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, where it's you start off on a C-130. It's 100 people. You parachute onto this island. You have no armor, no weapons, no nothing, no gear, and you got to scrounge for everything and be the last man standing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just so much fun. Just it's kind of intense. You're like always on your edge. When we first started, the first couple of rounds, like I died, relatively quickly because as you're scrounging around, like all I had was a pistol.
Yeah, you don't have much.
James had a shotgun. I opened up a door. There's a guy with a M16. And he just like took me out just right away. I was like, well, that was 5 seconds into the game. Mm-hmm. But the good thing with that, with playing the 2-mans, I was like basically his Overwatch because I was spectating James. And so, like he's off playing and I'm like, I'm watching on the screen. So it's like a secondary pair of eyes. So I'm like, hey, 2 o'clock, look over there. There's a guy. And he's like, oh, and so he lasted a little bit longer with that. But eventually we got, more in sync together. We decided to go out like further out in the on the map, before we dropped. So we had more time to gather some supplies, and we both got some really good rifles, got some armor, got some scopes, all this kind of stuff. He picked up a dune buggy, so like we're on a dune buggy, and I'm like sitting on top of it, look out with a gun and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we would get up on this mountain, and we're looking down the hill, and just like trying to scope around the area, and I just so happened to turn around and see 2 guys sneaking up behind us. So I'm like, hey man, behind us, and like we both like lit them up and like, yeah.
Were they in a buggy as well, or just on foot?
They were on foot. They were trying to get our buggy. I don't even know if they saw us, but they were trying to get our buggy.
Okay.
So I mean, like just stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Where like you'll be holed up in a building, like you're covering the doors. He's covering the other door. I saw some guy running around outside through the window, and so I knew he was going to be coming through the door soon. So as soon as he opened up the door, he just light him up and. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Buggy, it's still pretty buggy.
It's in early access.
It's early access. There's a lot of audio glitches, a lot of, just it was like popping a lot.
Okay.
So that was kind of annoying. But like I said, it's like almost like pre-beta. So once they get stuff worked out, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. Do you have any? You say you couldn't last long getting shot. Is there any armor in this game at all?
Yes, you can get armor. There's like chest armor. There's head armor, which helps out.
Okay.
There's like 3 levels. Level 1, 2, 3, and like the higher the level, the more protection it gives you, stuff like that. But when you first drop off, when you have nothing, just your fist, like one match, the first thing James found was just a scythe. He's like, I have a scythe. I don't have a weapon, and so he just happened to run across a guy, and he like took him out with that, and then he was able to scrounge and get the guy's weapon and stuff. So like it's a lot of fun. So but it's that intense moment like right when you're like you go into a house, you're trying to like see if there's anything there, trying to get the weapons, trying to get the armor, get the bandages, all that kind of stuff, and still keep a lookout to make sure people aren't sneaking up behind you. Luck of the draw, they might have found a shotgun beforehand. And take you out.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, really intense. The matches go really quick, for the most part.
Aren't they timed?
They're not necessarily timed. It's just you have the circle that draws people into more of the center, and so as it draws people in,
is that on a timer though, or is that on a basis of like?
It is on a timer, like 2.5 minutes. So like you have like the safe zone circle, which is in white. You have to get it within the safe zone. Then you have 2.5 minutes, and then it'll shrink down again. Then once it stops shrinking, you have 2.5 minutes. It'll shrink down again, and it continuously shrink down. So I guess in a way timer, but in a way, I mean the matches aren't like you don't have like the countdown looming over you, but death is coming really quickly anyways.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit in the club. way back when.
Yeah, way
PS3.
back. Yeah.
The tower defense. You had an area you had to go to, and you'd stay there, and you could go out and get stuff, but you had to get back to that safe zone within 5 seconds. If you didn't, your the explosives would go off on you. So yeah, well, sounds like that.
They have, they have even within the safe zone, kind of like in Battle Royale, they have like little like areas like that'll like pop up randomly that are like the entire area is like red, and if you're in that area, it's gonna get like aerial bombardment. You know, so you have to either find like cover or stuff like that. So like I was like hiding in a shed. I'm like, is this gonna protect me? And James like, I don't know. We'll find out. And like the whole world's exploding around me and like everything's shaking. I'm like, oh my goodness, it was a lot of fun. You know, but I mean, as soon as you die, you could, unlike some of the other like older games, Counter-Strike or stuff like that, you know, you don't have to wait for the entire match to finish. You can just like jump out, go into the lobby, get into another match. So having a great time with that. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna be doing it more. We're trying to get some more of our friends into the early access on that. I think it's like $26 or so on CD keys or somewhere like on the internet. But we're trying to convince Kevin and maybe like Jeremy and stuff like that. But I mean, as long as you know that it is still early access, it's still a little glitchy in a way, a little buggy. But I can see the potential of where it's going, and I'm excited about it. So
that's good.
Something that's going to be a lot of fun to play.
Miltal says they drop crates.
Yeah. Oh man, the last match that we did.
What kind of crates are we talking about here?
Loot crates.
So are they crates like the
airdropped in are
they
Division?
Okay.
Remember, like
I'm thinking Team Fortress.
Remember the Division, how they would drop the supply crates? So yeah, like the thing with like James and I, like when we were playing, we were getting greedy, and that's when you die. So
like Dark Souls.
Yeah, we had plenty of ammo, we had supplies, we had good guns, we had bandages, all this. We had a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And so we're just like, all right, let's just go around, and we're trying to avoid people when we need to, hunt people when we need to, kind of thing. But there was a loot crate, like a supply crate right there, and James was like, all right, let's go see what's in the supply crate. We didn't need to because we had everything that we need. Right, so I'm like, all right. So as soon as like we park the dune buggy, as soon as I hop out, get sniped. Someone was like, camping the crate, and I'm like,
yeah.
He's like, I knew we shouldn't have. I'm like, yeah, they got us. I mean, good for them. We were greedy. We didn't need it. They got us good. So I mean, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Good.
You need to get on that.
Well, $26.
I know.
The early access games are always they rarely drop in price, and when they do, it's not much of a drop either.
Yeah,
I know because they need the money.
They need the money to keep
building the game. I get that. Although PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is, from what I understand, doing very, very well. So hopefully that'll bring it out of early access quicker. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Matt and I are going to discuss Prey for our next segment. For the top of the hour segment, if anybody was thinking about calling in or wanted to give out their opinion, I think our top of the hour segment, we're going to talk about Destiny 2 in that segment. But coming up next, Matt and I will talk about Prey. As always, we have brand new music every single week to go in and out of break with. I try all the time to fill it with music from recently released games. I've got a few tracks from Injustice 2 just because the music's actually very good in Injustice 2. But I didn't want to make the whole thing Injustice 2 because I've made that mistake before, even though I just picked one single song and kept giving you different versions. So I've got a few tracks from Injustice 2, I've got a track from The Surge, Fire Emblems is in this one as well. Plenty. But this one is not from a game that was released this week. This is from Stellaris. Which I basically, when I get down to like having one or two, I go to my friends list and see what people are playing. Last night, somebody was playing Stellaris, so I went and searched for music from that. Found this track called In Search of Life. Enjoy, and we will be back in a moment with more in-game chat. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. I'm Scott along with RJ, and Matt is back. Been gone for 2 weeks, but he's back now. This is music, by the way, from Endless Space 2, which released this week. It's called Three Quarks in a Row.
Does that mean the first one had endless space?
An end?
Yeah, an end.
I don't know. Like Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay. I really like the soundtrack to this.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Prey. I don't know if are we gonna get into spoilers? Because have you finished?
No, I haven't. Have you finished? I haven't finished yet.
No, I haven't finished it either.
How far are you?
I don't know if you paid attention to what we were talking about. But, I picked up the helmet that lets you scan the aliens and stuff. So I'm in that.
So okay.
I'm in that section.
I'm further than you then.
Okay.
So I mean I'm at deep storage, so it's a little bit further.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
I don't think you've made it to the Arboretum yet.
I'm in the morgue.
Of course.
Which it's always nice.
There's always morgues.
Creepy space games have morgues.
It's
always nice when any creepy game has morgues. There was a morgue in BioShock.
Yeah, morgues and hydroponics. That's like two space things that they need.
Yeah, I haven't run into hydroponics.
There's
Dead Space.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Hydroponics.
But there was a morgue in that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
When you get to the Arboretum, there's a greenhouse. So that's kind of ish, maybe.
Yeah. You have to have a morgue.
Yeah. I'm guessing you haven't gotten to the Arboretum yet, have you?
No. What would have?
It's with the plants.
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's at the very top of the
oh God,
station.
no! I haven't even fixed the elevator yet. No.
Okay, that's when you fix the elevator, that's where it takes you to.
Yeah.
To the top.
No, I haven't gotten that call that the elevator's fixed. Or did I? No, I haven't. Should the elevator be fixed by now? Did I miss a thing?
I think it's main story plot.
Okay, yeah, no, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. So, a little recap for those who haven't been playing or haven't been up to Prey knowledge.
Like I just got to the point, and we talked about this, I think last week. I just got to the point where you and I can now split in the way that our character goes.
Yes.
Not necessarily goes through the main story, but the way our character develops, which will be, I guess, me taking more of the alien abilities.
Yes.
And you're sticking with the human abilities.
Human, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're I don't know, like how much you talked about last week.
Not very much.
Okay, so for
other than that, I really enjoyed it. It has an extremely BioShock-ish aesthetic to it.
Oh, this is like straight up System Shock.
I would have said that, but
you never played System Shock,
so I have to go with
for those old people like me, like that remember it back in the day.
Not that far different.
But I mean, it's like straight up. Oh my goodness, it is wonderful. But you're on a space station. You find out, and wow, I'm really enjoying this game. You get special abilities, like you could choose to put these psionic ability, the psionic abilities. Is that
Psytronic? I think.
Psychotronic. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Sounds like a '90s techno band.
Oh, it does. That
was Technotronic, actually.
They did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's what that was. I was like, wait, Psycho? Oh no, that was Technotronic.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So you could choose to enhance your character through better jump, hacking, inventory space. I mean, like all these different things, like medical, the typical
standard fare
kind of stuff. Then you come to find out later on, once you get like this little scanning helmet thingy, that
which is what I just picked up.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You start scanning the alien creatures, and you could start absorbing. You could hack yourself to get their abilities. So you could choose to do that or to not do that. And I've chose to just stay human, because like once you start hacking yourself like that and get scanning them and then upgrading yourself in the alien way, you start to, I guess it infects your DNA in a way where you start to become more like that. Where like the turrets, they recognize human and then they recognize the alien and they'll shoot at the alien.
So if there's any piece of you that's alien, the turrets will go off.
It starts. I think you have to do it more than one. I don't know how much you've
or a certain
upgraded.
percentage of your body is
then
alien.
It starts to notice that, and
you.
it's like, hey, you're an alien. You're like, no, I'm not, and it's like,
Close
bam.
enough.
Well, so far I haven't run across anything that scans me.
Okay.
I came across.
I think you'll have some deactivated turrets that you.
I came across a medical thing.
Oh yeah, the operator.
He didn't say anything about me.
Okay.
After I had some of those mods in, but I haven't. I'm sitting in the room where we've got some of the specimens locked behind these. Locked behind the cryostasis or whatever they're stuck in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in that room right now. I haven't gone any further than that room.
Okay.
So I don't have and I've been scanning those and unlocking abilities, but I haven't come across anything else that is going to scan me and tell me what's going on.
So like the more you play, the more powerful I guess you get in your abilities. The less I'm not really scared of the aliens really anymore.
The jump scares have missed on a few things.
Every now and then, even just like the little, they have the things called mimics, and they're the small little, the little creatures, and they'll turn themselves into like, ashtrays or coffee cups or, a health pack or, stuff like that, just like hide in plain sight kind of a thing. And like that will just like out of nowhere, just like bam, it's in your face. I'm like, oh my gosh, and just like
doesn't always happen though. Like
shotgunning the entire room.
The music will trigger, and the screen effect will trigger as well. But I'll be off reading a thing. I'll be reading something, and I'll hear it go off, and I was like, that was probably something behind me.
I could hear a scurry, like turn around, and like, all right. So I'm just like whacking every single coffee cup.
The jump scares
ashtray.
just haven't been. They haven't hit as it seems like they were intending. It was happening a lot early on in the game.
Yeah.
Like I'd just be walking around, and then I'd hear the noise, and I'd see the flash of light, but there'd be nothing in front of me. It was something that it was either moving too fast through, or it was supposed to trigger
quick
it back
little
there.
boogers.
I don't know, but so now I actually just don't pay any attention to it, and it actually doesn't happen as much when you've got the visor on,
because you have the scan, and you can actually.
I'm keeping the visor on. I'm not much further from where you pick it up, but I've also felt no reason to take it off.
Yeah,
it's like I want to keep it on in case anything pops out, so that I can scan it and. Progress.
Is there any negative benefit to having this scanner on?
It limits your vision.
Not too much.
Ish.
Yeah.
But your peripheral?
Yeah. It's because
it scopes it a little bit, but it's
it muffles the sound.
It does muffle sound. You're right. It does muffle sound, and it brings over a little bit of a different color. In front, not too much, nothing like Batman did.
Yeah. It's not like that blue
detective mode.
Detective mode. That was yeah.
So I'm like I'm trying to figure out a reason why you would ever take this thing off, if it provides you with so much benefits.
Well, I mean, if you're going strictly human route, I don't necessarily know that there is any reason to wear it.
I wear it just because you could zoom. So I'll zoom in on when I'm trying to if I'm
it will pick up on enemies that you can't see,
like some mimics. It'll pick up on some of them.
It'll pick on some of the. It'll pick up on some of those that you're not directly in front of. It'll notice them.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you're just going completely human build, there really is almost no reason to wear it other than information, because it does give you backstory. It does give you story and information on these aliens,
and tells you their weaknesses and stuff like that, because some of the weapons will work better with one alien than it will with another.
So far, the weaknesses on everything that I found is glue. They all have the weakness of glue, and then of course you can just shoot them.
Or just knock them with a wrench.
Which is basically all I'm doing. It's glue, fire, switch to shotgun or wrench, and then and take them out. Usually wrench on the little guys, and then I go shotgun on the big guys.
I haven't seen glue as a weapon in any game like that. Have you?
Not really. Not that I can think
first of all, how do you
not
use
even,
it?
Not even just a weapon, but
it's a tool.
It's
really good, actually.
Yeah, but the way you talk about it's pretty good. But how do you use it in the game?
Well, you use it to stop enemies from moving, so that they stop moving, they stop attacking you, and then you can attack them. You can also shoot it against walls and kind of create stairs to go up to a higher level. You can create platforms out of it. They don't just stick in midair, but if you can do a stair step or something like that, you can actually get up. That's what a lot of people who have done these 20-minute speed runs have been doing. They build up a step into the top of the map, and then they clip and go through.
So you got a glue gun.
So you have a glue gun. It also, if there's any electrical stuff that you can't get up close to and touch because it'll shock you and take away some of your health, you can shoot glue on that and it'll stop it.
Or
insulate it
long enough for you to try and fix it.
Okay.
Or at least get by.
There's pipes that, with a flammable gas that if you hit it, it'll like shoot a jet stream of fire. You can like plug those up. So that way you could get past an area, stuff like that. Okay. If you need to climb a wall, you just like plop some glue up the side of the wall and you just like hop up it. That's gotten me out of situations before where I'm like, all right, how do I get all the way up there? Let me just like bloop, 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 bloop.
Is there any way on some of these named enemies where they've taken possession of crew members to not kill them?
You could always just sneak around them.
I didn't even sneak around them. I don't want to do that because I want to
kill them all.
Well, they may have a card on them or something to get me into a different thing. So far, I've been killing them, but I didn't know on some of these named guys if there was a way to like glue them and then take down their health to a certain percentage.
Stun gun.
Do I have a stun gun?
You should. I mean,
was it default?
No, but I mean, like it's one of the. Let's see. I first got it in the second floor of the very first area that you're in, the neuromod area, second floor, like up in the lobby. There's a little guy with a stun gun.
I wonder if I have that and I just don't know it.
And later on, you get the plans to replicate it.
I have not seen a stun gun. I don't think. I'll have to go look in my.
Oh, you need the stun gun.
I haven't come across a stun gun.
You need the stun gun.
I've got the silenced pistol, or is that the stun? No, the 9mm. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
I got the shotgun out of my locker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got the dart gun.
The foam dart gun.
Yeah.
Which is more useful than you would think.
I've got the recycle grenade.
Yeah. It's a little pistol.
I've not seen that.
So you know how like the corrupt operators are kind of annoyance?
They're all annoyances, but
yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
The operators, like the medical operator, the science operator.
Yeah.
When they get corrupted and they start like flaming you.
Right. Yeah.
It's an annoyance. The stun gun, you like get that thing upgraded, one shot kill.
I don't have a stun gun.
You need a stun gun. I'm telling you.
That's really weird. Where? I have to go find a stun gun now.
We need a soundbite of that, by the way.
I have to go find a stun gun.
Yeah, we need a soundbite. Definitely need that. You need a stun gun.
I'm telling you.
First thing you're going to do when you get back is get that stun gun.
I'm going to go looking for that stun gun. Yeah.
So
totally.
Go back to the lobby. Go back to the first area, the neuromatics or whatever it's called.
Before I go into the main lobby, or
the before you went into the main lobby.
The one where I found my first neuromod. And then go even further into that?
So when you first get back into the area, like right where you found the first neuromod,
yeah.
You know how like there was that little like repair icon that was before you get to the security area.
Yeah.
Where you first get the glue gun. Right there with the dude with the glue gun, right behind you is a repair icon. You repair that, and that activates the grav lift right behind it. And then you take the grav lift up to the second level and follow it around. I'm sure you've gone in there because that's where you they have fabrications. That's where they have the volunteer quarters, all that kind of stuff.
I might have missed that room entirely, which is weird because I'm so thorough in these things, but I can't believe I haven't come across that yet.
But it's right there in the main lobby area, around. There's a dude with a stun gun, and I'm like,
I'll look it up. I'll look it up and find it.
I mean, I've gotten the mod, to replicate it. So I just, for some reason I dropped it or put it into the recycler or something.
I missed.
But
that's ridiculous.
I replicated it.
Been walking around with
maybe you've been there and just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I really want it now.
Oh, it's worth it. So yeah, you could stun the enemies and they just sort of fidget out and everything. So I had the problem of there's some enemies like in the first lobby area that are named that I killed. And now that I try and go back there, because I've been trying to, you could go to a security station and they have like a dossier of the people on Talos 1, right? And so I've been trying to find everybody, but some of the people like I killed before that and I didn't check their name off, and so like it has like a dash instead of saying where they're, their status.
It's
and
like,
so I'm like,
it's like those enemies in like Metal Gear. They have the dog tags. You pick it up and you got that list of names that of people you've encountered.
Kind of,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, there's some people that I can't get to, to check their name off of finding.
I came across that computer first, and there was a ton of people, and I kept clicking through, and my little objective thing would move across the screen, change the positions and stuff. And I thought, wow, okay. So I just left somebody picked, and I said I'll just follow the story, because at that time, so much was locked out for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not
There's
gonna.
so many names that you haven't found.
Well, I'm the type of player that will take my optional objectives and try and clear those out before I stick to the main story. But I can't do that in this game because the main story is what unlocks more of everything.
But if you have a chance to clear out the optional objectives before progressing,
I try to
definitely do that.
I try to do that.
Have you been outside the station yet?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, that was fun, strange, scary, but also more fun than anything else. Actually,
that's where I got my. That's where I first got the Q gun. The Q beam.
Yes.
I found it out there, and I'm like, okay, and let me try this, and I'm like, all right, this is really kind of weird. It shoots a particle laser, and then like it builds up on the enemy's health bar, and then once it fully takes over their health bar, then they explode.
They just explode. Yeah,
but
it's overcharging.
So you got to keep it on them.
Yeah, the whole time. And while you're doing that, it's not stunning them. It's just sort of like affecting them.
Yeah, so they're just bobbing and weaving all around the place on some enemies, right? So
some of them, yeah.
So how long does it take to charge it up?
It depends on the enemy, like in their health. Like later on, you'll come across a really nasty guy that, it takes too long. He'll just one punch kill you.
Okay.
We got to take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll finish our Prey discussion. We'll go into Destiny 2. But we'll be back with more of in-game chat right after this. Here is, it's basically the main theme for Injustice 2. So we'll be right back with more in-game chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. I'm Scott, along with RJ and Matt. This is music from Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of
Mordor?
Valentia, I think.
Not even close.
Is how that works on the end of that one. But yeah, came out this week on, I think, 3DS.
Yeah.
So yeah. So to get back to the Prey talk real quick, to finish that up, was basically Matt and I, and actually everybody that I know who's playing this thing is enjoying it. It seems to fall in line with another of Prey's, or not Prey's, but another of Bethesda's sort of trend, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay.
Release a game in May, based on a
previous
older property.
Yeah.
Which
not much hype around, not much expectations, and just it's fun.
And then it just comes out of nowhere with just being really, really great. So this is this 3 for 3 for them? 4? 4 for 4? Is it
what
Doom?
Wolf?
Yeah.
Doom. This?
Did they do anything other than that? Well, I guess no. Fallout didn't release in May.
Yeah. And that one actually had hype and expectation.
Yeah. Did they do Quake?
No. There
Okay.
hasn't been a Quake game since.
Why did
Was
I
it
think
Quake 4?
Why did I think they were doing a Quake?
I don't know.
I don't know. But we're both loving it. I got to go find a stun gun. Hopefully by, I guess, next weekend, we might both be finished with this thing, so we can talk about the outcomes that we both had. Matt playing full human, and me playing, I guess, alien or whatever.
Modified DNA.
Yeah, going the modified route on that thing. So,
what are your thoughts on the game so far?
I'm enjoying it. I love it. I love the in video games you get a lot of sci-fi games. I mean, you get that's just
it's a good.
It's almost all and sci-fi can be a complete range of different things.
Yes. It doesn't all have to be spaceships.
Right. You know, Halo, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Destiny, sci-fi. There's all sorts of classifications of this. This feels like a science fiction that we haven't had in either a very long time, and I really can't remember anything that I could relate that to, but the kind of science fiction that you, and especially as far as the story is concerned, the kind of science fiction that you just don't normally get from video games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, they just want you to pilot a ship, or to have space battles, or have you as a
tanking warrior of
you being the superhero fighting the alien type thing. This one doesn't come in that way. This one comes in a very pure science fiction type situation.
And I'm still thinking,
I don't want to say horror science fiction, but it's got that element.
I was about to say, because it sounds like a lot of Dead Space light.
In a way,
because I think about average simple person thrown in a situation that use what he got to get to survive.
But there's something about Dead Space leans so much more towards the horror aspect, and I know that maybe this doesn't seem to lean on that as much. It's got that vibe, it's got the jump scares, it's got that whole thing, but there's something different about it that it doesn't lean on that horror so much as Dead Space did. Mm-hmm. Strictly on that horror so much. Again, I you know where I'm at in the game, and I know James has finished it, and I know Dennis has finished it as well. So things may change where it does rely on that aspect more. It does lean more to that side of it, but something different here, something more. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe narrative science fiction is what I'm trying to think of more than anything else. Hard to put a finger on it.
But the environment is really neat. The layout of the space station is fantastic. You know, I'd say even more so than like the Ishimura or some of the other stuff. I mean, there's no fast travel, so if you need to get to another side, you know, once you unlock the elevator, you can sort of take an elevator, or if you're close to an airlock and you've unlocked, you know, the stuff, you could, you know, go outside and sort of like, you know, navigate around. But other than that, you're traveling back, you know, through the way that you came, but it doesn't feel intrusive. It doesn't feel annoying. You know, it's actually kind of fun because sometimes just in my back travels, that's when I'm like, oh hey, I missed this area over here, or I didn't see that over there, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm starting to think that maybe there's more to even the story than what I thought where it's going. Like I think there might be something bigger than just what's being presented to me.
Yeah, I really don't know. I have no idea which way the story is going. I know that I'm talking to what is essentially 3 different people, even though one of those people, well, 2 of those people I know in a sense. I haven't discovered the identity of this third person.
Yeah.
I have kind of a code name, and I'm trying to
avoid
hold back a little bit and try to figure out a way to talk about that without spoilers.
Yeah.
But already it feels like I'm going to have 3 choices to make. Trust this person that I know, trust this other person that I know, and then trust this third person that I still don't know the identity of.
Yeah.
In order to come to an ending, I guess. I don't know. That's me speculating on how this thing is going to go, I feel pretty confident that it's not going to turn out that way whatsoever. It's going to be completely different. But to go on what I know, there's my suspicions. But I could be wrong. I have no idea.
Well, I know, like, I was on Discord and, just, like, talking with James while he was, like, like, just fooling around doing stuff. And he's like, hey, I know where you're at. Have you gotten the
stun gun? Did he help you out with the stun gun?
I already had that.
Okay, yeah.
But no, like,
nobody misses the stun gun.
Yeah,
for me.
But like, he's like, I know you're at in the game. Have you, gone to an escape pod? And I'm like, no, I haven't yet. I mean, it's one of my objectives, but like, I was thinking that like, if I did that, then game over. And then you escape the ship and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, but you just load your last save. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, you need to do that before a certain point, because then the objectives, I guess, change, or stuff. The story about that changes, and just it's a little quick thing and a little piece of audio, and so I did that, and I'm like, oh, huh, so,
that's up there right now for me to go do.
Oh, to get into Alex's escape pod.
Yeah, the escape pod objective is there.
So I did that.
Okay.
And
can I access that right now?
No.
Or no?
Because that's up in the Arboretum.
Okay. So until I figure out how to turn this elevator back, does the elevator ever get turned back on, or is that just...
You're in the area now to do that.
Okay, wonderful.
So once you do that, then it'll unlock, I believe that, that's where the area is to unlock. You'll get into the elevator, you take it to the top floor of the ship, the space station, and that's where you explore that area around, and you'll see, where the escape pod is. I would, like James told me, I would suggest to you that... save beforehand, and just do that.
Oh no, totally.
Then load your save up.
Oh, obviously. No, I would never make that kind of. I do that on just decisions about which room I'm about to walk.
Should I open the door? I don't know.
I make that decision about walking into a different room. Much less about doing that before making a choice about an ending.
My one problem with that objective is now that I've done it, it doesn't erase the objective because I had to load my previous save. And so it's like I like clicking off the checking off the objectives, but it's still there, and I'm like it's taunting me. I've already done it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
But it's I'm thinking there's going to be another twist. So.
You see some replay value in this one?
Just if nothing else, just the fun of it. I mean. As much as I'll replay like some of the older games I've done where I enjoy like Half-Life 1 or 2, right? The replay value is what you make of it. If you enjoy the story, you already know what it is. Yeah, it's still you can still replay it.
I'm thinking along the lines of
but as far as like
let's see how it goes if I did this. Let's see how it goes if I did that. I mean, you said you could do it like save before a major decision anyway, and just go through the same game, but.
I think for that aspect, not necessarily really, because I'm being I'm kind of trying to be as thorough as possible. I'm trying to explore the entire space station before I do major objectives and stuff like that. So I wouldn't necessarily think it's like that kind of branching. It's a little bit more focused on here's your path through the story in a way.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's, you have a room. I don't have the key card to get into it. There's alternate paths. There's always, most of the time, there's going to be a way to get in there, whether it's like hacking or an air duct, morphing into, like using your alien tech and
almost every doorway is hackable with the exception of a few offices because.
Yeah. But then later on, if you're really good at exploration, you'll find the key cards to go back. I mean, there's stuff like back in the medical section in the lobby that I couldn't find the pharmaceutical key to get into the pharmaceutical area, but I found that way later. So it's one that even though at the moment I couldn't find it, later I found it. Yeah. And so you're always kind of like going back to that central hub of the lobby area. And then from there you could like, oh, let me branch out in this area that I couldn't get into before, or let me try this door that was locked before, or stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I think the story is a lot of fun. I'm having a good time.
All right, let's move on to the Destiny 2 thing. So we got a huge reveal on that as far as we knew Destiny 2 was coming, but they had a big gameplay reveal thing where a lot of people could actually get hands-on with the game, and they told us more about the game and gave us our first look at gameplay and everything else. That happened on Thursday. Was it Thursday? It was Thursday that they did the Destiny 2 reveal.
Yeah.
The 18th, yes, Thursday. We got a lot of news out of that. I know there's a lot of people who listen to this show and watch the show who do play Destiny or who have interest in Destiny 2.
And some that don't.
And there's a lot of people who don't. I know, Lethal Migraine could care less about pretty much anything. So, did you watch any of that? Have you watched any of the stuff on this?
No, work's been crazy this week.
RJ, did you watch any of this as well?
No. I followed what y'all were talking about, so
yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to watch the actual videos.
That might be Drunk Degenerates or somebody calling in to talk about that, but we'll see. So what we know is that there's... it looks like Destiny. It doesn't seem to have changed that... what?
It is?
It is...
Drunk Degenerate.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll bring him in. We'll bring him in. Chris, hang on the line. But we've got...
someone calling in from Germany.
Yeah, from Germany, all the way from Germany. Yeah, Germany. Hey, man.
Hey there.
There you are. You want to talk about some Destiny 2 with us?
Oh, of course.
So, all right, the first thing I got to know...
Well, I'm going to ask you, did you watch all the stuff about it?
Oh, yeah, I watched all the stuff and the extra stuff.
Okay, good, because today I watched... it was happened to your work, so today I watched the beginning of that first mission because I missed that. Because I caught the stream about 30 minutes late. So I watched the beginning of that first mission, and then I watched somebody's YouTube channel. I watched the Crucible match, the countdown, which I'll talk about that in a minute. And then I also watched the Strike. I watched somebody play through the new Strike. So let me ask you what you thought of this as somebody who plays Destiny now and continued to play it, and as did I. Does it feel like Destiny 2, or does it feel like
something
else?
It
feels a little bit more like there are a lot of quality of life changes and improvements in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that seems to be the fit of putting a 2 on the end of it. Because they do change up how things are done in the game as far as going from different locations. They called them worlds, whatever. And I know they said that Earth is one of the new worlds we'll visit. We'll just visit a different part of Earth. We've already had Earth to visit, but we'll just visit a different part of it. The more I watched of this with the Strike and the Crucible, and then just that opening mission... the more I kept looking at it and thinking, I mean, I don't mind. I'm not mad at the thing. I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad that it's getting, that it's going to bring in more players. I'm glad it's getting a PC version. We'll talk about that. I'm glad there's going to be new things to do. But I guess maybe it's just not. Maybe it's not the change I was thinking or was hoping for, I guess, and I really don't know what I was hoping for. It doesn't feel too much different, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I guess more of the same from them as far as, James and everybody in here has talked about that. Even though they're not offering anything new, we would still go into the game just to shoot stuff because the shooting was so well done.
Yeah, exactly. As long as the formula works fine, you shouldn't have to tamper with it too much.
And that's pretty much the thing I got that I got out of it was that I know they're going to change up the way everything is done, the way things work, the way you can spec your character out. They're getting rid of I don't know what our hub world is going to be.
They showed what the hub place will be probably.
Yeah. Because they're getting rid of all of that stuff. You're starting from scratch. I'm glad they're doing this to start over so that everybody can start fresh again and go through this and probably stick with this through 3, through 4, ever how many more they're going to do. Probably stick with this mode or this version. Because there was a lot of things holding them back out of 1. There was a lot of problems getting to release on Destiny 1. And...
heck, I didn't even get into Destiny until Taken King.
I know, and they fixed some of those things with Taken King, and then there's just some things that they couldn't fix without ripping it all apart and starting over. Or at least that seems to be what the case of what they're doing here.
My question, Josh, is what platform are you going to do?
Sticking to PlayStation, for sure. Because I have a pretty old laptop, but the good thing they are implementing now is you will have cross-saving between PlayStation and PC.
Really?
The word, say that again?
Crossplay.
So basically you can keep the save from PlayStation and it's saved on the Bungie server, so you can just shut down your PlayStation, go onto your computer and continue playing from there.
They haven't confirmed that, though, that I know of.
I'm pretty sure they did in an interview.
If you've got a link to that, I would love it, because I went through my stuff this morning, and that was basically... there was an interview with PC Gamer they had, and the guy brings it up, and he said, we're not going to talk about that today. It is something we're aware of, but we're not going to talk about it today. It was one of those stupid answers that I hate. And if that is the case, if that is the thing that they're going to do, I am all for it. I want to play this thing on PC, just for the fact that... Here's the PC stuff. It'll have up to 4K resolution support.
Yes.
I've got a monitor that can do the God, I've already forgotten the resolution on it, but it's the one below 4K. But it looks great.
3K?
No, for whatever reason I'm drawing a blank.
1080?
Huh? No. God, why is it slipping my head now? Anyway, 1440p. I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
I know. For some reason it was coming in my head like modem speeds. It's 4400K.
1440 baud.
Yeah, I know. I was like 1440p.
Yes.
So I've got one of those monitors. It can do 60 frames per second. It can do higher than that. You're going to have an uncapped frame rate on Destiny 2 for PC. You've got all the support in the world. I looked at their control scheme for mouse and keyboard. Looks fantastic. It's completely remappable. I can play it with a controller if I just want to continue to do that. The FOV can be changed. They'll have I imagine a lot of different settings for PC that you can do. So everything about this looks really good for PC. I have no doubt in my mind, even if they don't do the cross-save support, even if they don't do that, I still see myself playing on PC eventually, just so I can see what it looks like and maybe stay there. I don't know, but I can easily see myself playing this on PC as much as I can see myself playing this on PS4 as well.
So PC cross-saving is going to be cool, but what about like if you get it on the PS4, we get it on the PC. We can't play together. See, that's what I want.
No, that's never going to happen.
See, that's what I want.
That's just not going to happen.
More so than cross-saving, because I don't want to get it on multiple systems. But
if you can save that, I understand if you don't want to double dip, that's a thing. If you want to just buy it once on one platform, I understand that.
Now, if like a Russian truck would drop one off on my door, then I would definitely get it on multiple platforms.
I'm totally, if they do that save thing where I can save my character saving, or my character save goes from my PS4 to the PC, I'm easily getting this on both systems. I am.
Yeah.
Because there's not always going to be people to play with on PC that I want to play with.
And vice versa. Yeah.
And there's not always going to be people on PS4 that I want to play with.
Yeah, your friends will pop up in one system. You're like, oh, hey, let me jump on that one. Or
there'll be days when I don't want to sit in front of my computer and play it. There'll be days when I want to sit on my bed.
Yeah.
Which is where my setup is. I want to lay in bed and play my game. So I'll have that option, and I know that I won't be missing. That's one of the biggest things whenever I would play any of these games. I could either play something else, or I could progress my character further in this other game.
Yeah.
And so I won't be worrying about missing out on that because I can play it on either platform, and it'll save in between them. If that's the case, that's really. I don't know that that's determining my purchase. It's still up in the air because I know we're going to start completely from scratch on this thing, so it's still kind of up in the air on where I'll go. PC's got this thing where they're going to be not releasing at the same time as the console versions.
A little later.
Yeah. Well, a little later. We don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical about a little later and what that means. A little later to us is not necessarily what a little later to them is. A little later to them is like, a month.
Yeah.
That's a long later.
Yeah.
You also have to consider the PC release will go via Blizzard and Battle.net, and Blizzard soon is a pretty long soon.
Is soon? Say that again? Oh, you mean their time frame? Yeah.
Yeah, Blizzard's time frame of soon can span many months.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you on that. I understand, but I really want to see that thing at an uncapped frame rate, or even at 60, because we've been playing it at 30. I watched some videos that were playing at 60, and that looked great. But looks like they were playing. No, they were playing on PCs, I think. They were using apparently PlayStation controllers when they were playing, though, because when you went to the control scheme, it showed
the XY.
It showed a PlayStation controller, that sort of thing, when they were showing that. So I'm not exactly sure what everybody was playing on it there. They did have PCs for people to play on. Crucible's going 4v4 on everything.
Yeah, that's something I'm curious about, because that will make Fireteam things a little bit awkward. When you go to a raid and then you think, okay, let's do some PvP afterwards, you got to kick some people out.
Yeah, well, I mean,
then you could when you're that one person get kicked out, like, oh, that's what they felt about.
That's another thing that I wanted them to expand. Obviously, now I'm nitpicking all the things that I didn't see, that they didn't talk about. I don't know what kind of ship customization we'll get. It looks like maybe we'll be able to customize the exhaust flame that comes out, because I saw different colors. So maybe that's part of it, but I didn't see anything that involved our ships, which we were hoping for stuff that we could do with our ships to make them more our own thing.
As long as I could spend money and get my Thriller dance.
I'm sure they'll have that for you, Matt. There was the fact that when you're still out there patrolling or doing your planetary daily stuff, you can still only do it with up to 3 people?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Get out of that. I mean, I understand you want to limit that, but make it more than 3. Yeah. You're cutting back on PvP. You're going from 6v6. Was it 6v6?
Yeah. 6v6.
6v6 was at the most you could do. You're cutting back on that and going 4v4. So now you're putting limits on us again.
Mm-hmm.
The raid is only 6 people. That's fine. But why can't it be 6 people when we're just doing anything else? Why can't it be 6 people for a strike? Or 4 people for a strike? Why is it got to be 3 again? Why when I just want to go around and do patrol missions? Why is it only got to be limited to 3? Why can't it be 4 or 6? Why can't they open that up to me? But yeah, so like I said, those are little like nitpicking things because I've lived with them now for 3 years. And yes, I've complained about them, but I'm still playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What I really liked from the reveal, something I really liked was the whole new thing about clan integration and matchmaking for raid and all PvP content.
There was that. I'm curious on how well that works in execution. You know?
It's an option we didn't have. You don't have to use it, but
That's
you can,
true.
and
That's
that's
true.
always good.
The fact that it even exists now is nice to have. But after I found places like our fire teams on Reddit, that was just like that was even better than LFG, the website. I liked the fire teams Reddit more than I did or subreddit more than I did the LFG thing. So
yeah,
I don't really see me straying too far from that, depending on how well this guided games things goes. It's still very weird that they still don't just say, yeah, we put in an LFG. It's kind of an LFG. It's not. I don't know. I need to see more on how that thing works. I actually need to. Hopefully, they give it a little bit more time than what they did at this thing at maybe E3, or maybe they can do. You know what? Maybe they can do some videos. Bungie loves doing their videos where they talk to each other, and do their own interviews. So maybe they can do a video where they showcase all these different aspects of all the new things that they're adding.
There will also be the beta in summer.
Yeah, there is the beta. Yeah, I got
beta.
that.
Beta.
They did say that everybody was going to get a chance. I was reading this. They did say everybody was going to get a chance to experience the game before it releases.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you just get in a few days earlier when you pre-order, but generally you can probably get into the beta nonetheless.
Yeah. Is that the same on PC? I know for console probably, but is that the same on PC as well?
No idea about the beta for PC. I actually didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
If they make something special about it.
Curious about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping we get more information on each of these new aspects of the game, especially that PC version. I really want to hear more about.
Yeah.
That cross save between the two is
very tempting.
That's kind of me waiting on the last shoe to drop for which way I'll go on this thing. I still feel like I'll probably, like I said, I think if they don't do if they don't share saves, I'm probably sticking to PS4. Because of the install base that's already there. And just my preference of where I will play it. Because of how long my sessions of playing this thing are.
Plus, you have that muscle memory of the controller.
I got the controller and everything else. I mean, I understand I can put the controller on my PC if I want to go that route. I get that, but I think I'll probably stick with PS4 if they don't have the share integration between PC and PS4. But eventually we'll have it on PC on a sale or something like that, just because I want to experience it. I want to see it on my PC.
Yeah.
I want to have that feeling of playing it with mouse and keyboard and see what the differences are there for me and that sort of thing.
Bump up the field of view and
yeah, I want to experience all of those, but I think to go through this whole thing, I'll probably stick to PS4. But if they do that cross save, man, I'm on both. I am on both, and I have no qualms about double dipping for that.
Yeah.
Easily. No problem at all on that. My shoulder is killing me right now.
So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I know.
Not with the shoulders, with the.
Yeah, I got a rig that'll make this thing look great and play fantastic, and I wanna experience that. I really would like to experience that. So I don't know. You're gonna stick with PS4 on this. Was there anything you saw that you were kind of I don't know, that kind of left you open about, or not open, but sort of anything else you saw that you were a little bit nitpicky on?
Probably the whole PvP thing for the most part.
Right. See,
Because,
Crucible's cut back to 4v4. Does that mean? Crap! Why does all this stuff escape me when I need it the most?
Trials is 4v4 as well.
Yeah, Trials will be. But what's the big thing that they do?
Iron Banner?
Iron Banner. God, it's killing me.
Yeah, they said every mode will be 4v4.
So
regardless.
even Iron Banner be 4v4.
Yep. And also they are changing a lot of things in the pace of the Crucible from what I heard. To the point they even have a separate audio mix for Crucible and PvE content in the game. So it's leaning a little more towards esportsy feel from what they said. And there's like the time to kill is a bit increased. The sticky grenades don't one-shot kill anymore. Things like that.
Yeah, I watched some of that Crucible new countdown game type, which I don't know. It just seemed like they added something to elimination. They added another objective in elimination because you could still get the win by eliminating everybody on the other team. It was 4v4 with revives, but revives only. You couldn't revive yourself. You had to have a teammate revive you, which is essentially what elimination is.
And the revives were limited as well per round per team.
Oh, I did not notice that. I did not notice that.
You had 4 revives per round.
Yeah. I know that.
Those run out,
Yeah, I know you'll be capped again at like level 20 with your light level being 200. That's how it'll all start off again. I mean,
and then
basically,
they'll build up with each
it's all starting.
expansion.
It's all starting from scratch again.
That's fine.
I noticed on the night. Go ahead.
Thing I was a little bit nitpicky about is those new supers the classes are getting.
Mm-hmm.
Or the reworked classes as reworked supers for the subclasses. I must say the one for the Blade Dancer was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, basically it's still your...
pretty much like the Blade Dancer, just with the staff.
It's still your knife, you just get a stick. And it does the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And the Titan gets the Captain America shield, and the Warlock gets the sword, and those work a lot differently than before.
I could tell that the Captain America shield for the Titan, that's a void ability. So you finally got something with void that you can do that isn't a bubble.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to kill like ever so many with your void ability or generate so many orbs with your void ability, for some of those steps in a quest, which was ridiculous to do with a bubble. So yeah, that's kind of nice for you guys to have. What was the other? Oh, yeah. In the chat room said the first time that I and thousands of other players see PC videos or screenshots in a NeoGAF highlights thread, I will buy. I agree with you on that, but I think the thing that'll push me into that sell thing will be when NVIDIA does a video.
Like a benchmark or something? Or
not benchmark, but they did these videos for like Batman games and for Borderlands and stuff and showing off the PhysX and everything else. That's usually when I get pushed over the edge and buy the games. Like, oh, I have something that'll work on this thing, which I'm glad NVIDIA's getting behind this thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, anyway, that should probably end our Destiny talk because we are way behind on taking a break. We just kind of recapped here on everything that we sort of know on Destiny so far. There's a lot more in detail that we would like to know on how these things work, and hopefully between now and the release of the game, or at least now and around E3, we'll start getting a better idea of some of these things that are going to happen when the actual PC release is going to take place. And any other questions that we have. But you're sticking with PS4, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I'll be there regardless.
To me, it just depends on where you guys go. You know.
Well, you know where James is going.
I know where James is going.
He's going PC. I don't know where Nate's going yet. I think he might be leaning more towards PC now, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So if y'all go more one way, then because I'm gonna go with where my friends are. Because yes, PC.
Yeah.
I'll probably go that route.
Yeah.
Because that's how I want to play. I don't want to solo this. I want to play with a bunch of idiots that I know, as opposed to the idiots out there that I don't know.
When the idiots that I know stopped playing, I still found people to play with.
Yeah, true.
And weren't really idiots for the most part.
Although I did get some weird bugs.
It was none of the people that I teamed up with that I didn't know, complete strangers, were fantastic. The community on this was wonderful.
Yeah.
Honestly, the ones that I met through our fire teams on that subreddit were great. The Sherpa community was brilliant and was great about teaching you the ins and outs of a raid rather than just carrying you through it. They taught you how to do it. And nobody was aggravating or trolling or anything like that. It was very, very well done. So I'm not worried necessarily about going where my friends go. Again, if cross save is there, I'm going to go where I'm going to have both options of wherever friends are. If cross save isn't there, then I'm sticking with PS4, and eventually I'll make it to the PC, but I'll just stick with PS4 based on the install base, based on the controls, based on where I play the game the most. I'll go that route with it. I eventually will play it on PC, though, regardless of what happens. I'll get there just to see the thing.
Just depending on...
Just to see it, man. Just to see it. Because, again, if the community sticks, and I don't know. I don't know how well a community on PC is going to do. I look at all these other different games, and I see how the community not necessarily has dropped off, but they've all excelled, and nobody comes back to do that low-level stuff. Destiny doesn't necessarily work in that way. You can go do the low-level stuff with your friends and that sort of thing. I couldn't do it in the Division. Division was different. It was hard to find anybody just to pick up and play with into the Division because everybody had either moved on to something else or they were at a higher level doing other stuff.
Yeah.
The communities for like Titanfall and Battlefront and a lot of these things had just, they'd all just deflated on the PC. I understand that for Blizzard, like with Overwatch and with WoW and with all of their other multiplayer things, that community sticks onto the PC.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a Blizzard games. This is not Blizzard game. This is a Bungie game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the community is going to do on that. It's going to be interesting to see what the community does on PC. I already know how it works on console. Communities stay there.
Yeah.
PCs, they move on. They quit. They whatever. They get done with it. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. I know PC is getting exclusive stuff. Or not PC. PS4 is getting exclusive things. They did that with the previous and none of it ever came to the Xbox One.
Some of it did.
Some of it did, and then some of it didn't.
The last two DLCs exclusive things didn't ever move over, I think.
No, they never made it over. Now, I read in the interview with PC Gamer, somebody asked that same question. They were asked that same question about exclusivity, and he did confirm that, the PS4 is going to have exclusive stuff, but he said it would be only for a limited time. So timed exclusive, which means you'll eventually get it on the other platforms.
All right.
Possibly. I don't know. Who knows? They say it now. They could go back on that easily. So stuff always changes. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Good God. We're way behind on this break. So we'll be back with just a last little bit of in-game chat right after this. Here is music again from Injustice 2. It's called Joker's Playground. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. We've only got a few minutes left, so we're going to go to the phones here in a second, take Chris's call real quick, and then hit some real quick news before we got to go. This is music again from Injustice 2. If we were going to do Joker, we're going to do Batman. This one's called The Batcave Brother Eye. What is Brother Eye?
You remember that big apparatus that Batman had in
Wait,
Dark
I think
Knight?
I saw that in your playthrough.
Yeah, it was
when Brainiac took over.
Yeah, the thing Brainiac took over. It's basically like that thing in Dark Knight when they had this big thing monitoring the entire city.
Oh, okay.
It's something similar to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Let's jump in real quick. Hey, Chris, we've only got a few minutes, man, but make it quick. And I'm sorry we can't give you more time, buddy.
That's fine. Y'all seen the new Alien movie?
Not yet.
Nope, not yet.
It's great. I loved it.
Okay.
And been playing the same old things and all, but Scott, do you remember somebody named Ben Freeland that worked at the theater?
No.
Well, he happened to remember you, but anyway, he came over and played a few games before it started thundering and storming, but it's been storming over here for the whole afternoon, and about fell asleep from not being able to play, and then woke up and realized, it's 4:55. I about missed half the show already.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad you didn't miss half the show, and or the other half of the show anyway. So, but we thank you for calling again. I'm sorry it was so quick, and we'll talk to you next weekend. Okay?
All right, y'all have a good one.
Yeah. I also want to thank Drunk Degenerates that called in as well. I didn't even get him off the phone before we went to a break. So I'm so sorry about that. We've only got a few minutes left. James wanted us to mention that Vanquish comes out next week. I've already bought it.
Same here.
Yeah. Well, I had a deal on it, man. I bought Bayonetta 2 from that.
I thought it was Bayonetta 1.
From Bundle Stars. Or Bayonetta 1 from Bundle Stars. And then they sent me a discount code that was like $1 cheaper than it was on Steam already. So I grabbed Vanquish. So I'm ready to go on that.
They make it too easy.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see what y'all go through with these Steam sales.
Well, CD Keys had Prey. We bought that on
that legitimate looking.
Yeah, we bought that on the show for $36.
We don't comment on the legitimate lookingness.
By the way, CD Keys has Destiny 2 for like $40.
Yeah.
So there's that for you.
If only they had Ghost Recon for a good price.
Do they?
They have the European version.
Oh, okay. I
don't know if it's enough different, like regionally.
Some real quick ones to get to. South Park's game has a date for October 17th. That probably will get pushed, but at least they have another date. They originally just gave it no date. They said it's going to come out in the spring, and then they're like, we're going to push it back. We're just not going to tell you when. So October 17th is apparently the day for that.
The Witcher's getting a Netflix series.
The Witcher gets a Netflix series based on the book, by the way, not on the game. The game was kind of based on the books as well, but interesting thing to note, the guy who wrote those books, and I won't even try to pronounce his name, and I also can't remember it.
So, lucky.
Didn't really get anything from the game.
Yeah.
He got credit, but he didn't get any money. Really? He didn't get any residual type stuff from that.
Huh.
From what I understand. This doesn't necessarily, it's not going to fix that, I'm just saying, but he will get something from this.
Well, that's good.
And I don't want to put any blame on CD Projekt Red. I think it was some deal that they worked out with him that he agreed to whenever they took over the property. And
it wasn't in his best interest, maybe?
He kind of missed out on it.
Yeah.
You know?
If you make a deal, I mean, not saying that's what he did, but if you make a deal that, messes you up in the end, you have no one to blame but you.
Right. I don't want to make them out to be bad guys in this, because I don't think they were being evil in any way when they did the deal that they did with the guy.
And Dark Degenerates also pointed out Dark Crystal's getting a Netflix series.
That's right. They are. Harvest Moon's getting a release on PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Humble Bundle 18 is going on right now. You get Owlboy in there and a couple of other games. I say a couple. You get like 15 other games. It's a fantastic deal. Great prices for that. The other thing I wanted to say was that we finally got a trailer for Danger Zone, which is the whole Burnout Crash mode thing.
And a date.
The date of release is the 30th of May. So there is that to look forward to. I'm hoping we get some more gameplay. The trailer was like 47 seconds and had very little to show off. I watched that thing frame by frame to take note of all the little things going on in it, but it really didn't tell me much. I want to see more. It's only going to be for like $13. So they're betting the farm on this thing, and I really hope it goes well for them. Why they don't do a Kickstarter or something like that, I have no idea. I really think they would get the support they need for that. But I don't know why they're doing that. Why they're not doing that, actually.
Kevin showed me some beta footage of Battlefield.
Battlefront?
Battletech.
Battletech. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's looking amazing. I can't wait for that to come out.
Microsoft has renewed their Scalebound trademark. That doesn't really mean that's possible hope for people, but it doesn't.
Something to put on the back burner just in case they have a need.
I was going to say,
final.
you renew a trademark so somebody else doesn't take it. That's basically all. And maybe that's just all they're doing, is they're just holding on to the trademark so nobody else takes it. That doesn't mean really anything. So there is that.
Means no one else can get it.
Means nobody else can get it. It may not mean anything that anything is coming. So anyway, we're going to go. That's going to do it for us. I'm going to move some of the things that we're going to talk about, like the E3 tickets and the E3 schedule and stuff. I'm going to move those to next week. So hopefully we'll get to those. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody listening on the stream and on the radio as well. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We do appreciate it. Head on over to ingamechat.net and join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're watching us on Twitch, subscribe there. If you're on Steam, join our group there. You're on Xbox One, join our group there. If you're on PS4, guess what? We got a group there as well. And when Destiny 2 hits, we'll probably have a clan.
Yep.
We already do have a clan, but
official.
I don't know if that'll carry over or not. Probably not.
Know.
But we'll have a clan in that game as well. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a great week. We will see you next Saturday. I leave you with music from The Surge, which maybe we'll talk about next week or not.
It's Serge.
Serge. Yes, this is just the main menu theme. So have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday, everybody.